Okay. So one, before we have an organizational change management plan. Change is also an integral part of management or organization because your working environment doesn't remain same or stagnant. So changes take places inside the organization and outside the organization. So that's why we need to address those changes in external environment and internal environment, which leads toward change. So there are some kind of the strategy, then the reason to bring the change in your organization. So the three main areas we are going to cover today, carrying out force field analysis, how it's gonna help us to make the decision why it is important to conduct the force field analysis using various change management models, and then why we require leadership and change agent skills. Okay. So what is a force field analysis? As your name is explaining that within your surrounding environment, you are going to make some kind of the analysis. It's a kind of the strategic tool. It was introduced by Kurt Lewins. Okay. So it is normally help us to understand what is needed for the change in the both in personal level and organizational level or corporate level. Why these are why what kind of the changes is need, okay, or what is needed for the change. If you want to implement the change, what you need to consider. Hmm? It helps us to make us in decision making because when you are doing the analysis of the forces in the field, so it gives you some kind of the insight. So based on that insight, you are more confident and provide you kind of the evidence based those evidence, you will be more confident to make a right decision or informed decision. So in force field analysis, there are the 5 steps. Okay, describe your plan for plan or proposal for the change. Why you want to bring the change? Then you are going to identify forces for the change, identify forces against change, and assign scores, and then analyzing and apply that thing. So last step. So the previous 4 steps giving you the information, and the last step you are making the informed decision, and then you are implementing that plan. So we are going to explore that one in a bit detail, one by one. Okay. So little bit, let me explain it. Okay. Just guys, give me 1 sec. I need to bring my clock. Excuse me. Okay. So this guy is Kurt Lewin is a pioneer in a social psychology. Okay, and this field analysis and force field analysis normally used to analyze the factor that influence the change situation or change process. When we are doing bringing any kind of the change, there are some kind of the factor which are influencing the situation or change process. So this process of force field analysis helps identify and weight the driving forces. Okay, so there are some kind of the forces which are in the favor of the change, and there are some forces which are against change. So the forces which are in the favor of the change, we call them driving forces, and which are against the change, which are hindering the change, stopping the change, we are calling them restraining forces. So what happens, we just figure out what kind of these forces are both driving forces and restraining forces. Then we are figure out at the end, we give the weightage numbers like from 1 to 5 scale, and then calculate this, we should go for the change or not, or how we can manipulate our circumstances, control our circumstances to bring the change. So we are going to explore that now. So basically, force field analysis It is a change and it is characterized as a state of imbalance between driving forces and restraining forces, as I just explained it. So if you find both sides, you are giving the weight, identifying all the forces, driving and restraining forces, we assign the number to them, calculating them. Then if there is an imbalance, then we can decide if we are going to make any kind of the change or not. For example, if the restraining forces side number is heavier, it means it is not suitable to go for that change. Okay. Mm, for example, here. So forces against change. So they have list down all the factors for against. Here restricting one, and this one are driving forces. So you are calculating them. So over here you can figure out. It is giving us insight. Oh my God, there's loads of restraining factor. So we shouldn't go for that thing. Or then you can work on other way around. Try to remove these restraining forces or control them, and try to work on these driving forces and strengthen them, so you can change the situation and you can implement the change in the successful way. Okay. So there are the two things, freeze, I think so, stages. You are going to unfreeze the driving and restraining forces that hold in it in a state of quasi-equilibrium. So you are just trying to, relaxing those restraining forces there. Okay. Then, as imbalance as introduced to the forces to enable the change to take place. This can be achieved by increasing the driver or reducing the restraining, or both, as I explained already. I think so. We shouldn't go, line by line here. Over here, the process I have explained, you just list down the forces against and for, just give them the number, weigh them, and then you have a other situation. If driving forces are to go. If not, then you need to work around this one. You need to work on against forces and control them, reduce them, and work on the driving forces, strengthen them, and try to make this side heavier. Okay. So this is how you can control the circumstances and you can implement the change in a successful way. Okay. So let me give you example of some driving forces. If we are taking the example of the business driving forces, these are the factors that push for the change. They help you for the change. We can talk about the market competition. They are just pushing you just to bring the change in the organization. Technological advances. If other companies are using the technology, then you are also compelled to use technology. So this is a driving force. It is pushing you to bring the change in the company. Then customer demand, if a customer asking for the new product or new feature, then your strategic goals like this. Then there are some kind of the other forces which are restraining the change, and mostly and main importantly, employees. They are always resist to the change. Sometimes your organization culture, this is not aligned with the change you want to bring in the company. Okay, maybe your organization is not a tech company or innovative focused company, but when you are introducing the technology, then your organization culture is not supporting them, then maybe you have to change your organization culture to embed or bring that change in the organization. This is how you are going to controlling the restraining factor. You are changing the organizational culture, which is restraining force, to bring the change. If sometimes you have enough resources, then you can't bring the change. Fear of the unknown. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. So maybe it is also restraining factor. You are not sure that how it gonna work, would it be successful or not. Okay. So the thing which I have already told you, you are listing down all these forces, you are giving the number. So there is a thing. Okay. So if your driving forces are heavier, then go for it. Otherwise, you need to reduce the restraining forces. Okay. Ji. Critically evaluate change management models. Change management model. Courtlands three-fourths phase model. Court's eight-step change model. And Mackenzie's 7S model. Okay. So basically, Kurt Lewis has laid the foundation for rest of the change model. More or less, all of these models are talking about these things. Okay, let's explore Lewis' change model. So, Lewis change management model is a simple and widely used framework for understanding how to manage change in organization. So, it was developed by him in 1940s. So, this model is just containing on the three parts, okay, and freeze, change, and refreeze. Okay, so it is talking about it has divided the change into three phases. I have already explained that it has changed the model into the three phases. So basically, this process is about you are going to create the perception why the change is needed or what we are going to achieve new. So what kind of the desired behavior we need when we are bringing the change. Okay, then you are going to uh, soul define that new behaviors you are as the norms. So you are just trying to embed these new behaviors in your organization culture so they can last forever or for a longer term. So as I told you already, this model is serve the basis for many other modern change models. Okay, they are considering these phases because these are the normal things you definitely have to do in all the change models. So it is about it is a first and initial step. So whenever you bring the change, it is a normal and a common myth. People resist to the change. Doesn't matter. Maybe if it is in their favor, and mostly it is in the favor of the organization. Otherwise, management will not bring any kind of change or make a decision if it is not bringing the benefit to the organization. So sometimes maybe employees they find it is not in their favor. They're scared if technology is coming, main fear comes in their mind, or they are bringing the new technology. Maybe they are replacing our job or replacing the people. Okay, so that's why they don't want they show the resistance. So the goal of this phase is to increasing the stage. So basically they want to create the awareness about the change. They want to give the information to the people what kind of the change they want to bring. So they want to create the level of enhance the level of acceptability, and this way maybe it will help to reduce the hindering forces and to implement the change in a nicer and smooth way. So it's really important you need to carefully examine the organization structure. So because organization structures are very important anyways, by the end of the day I will give you the notes about the organization structures also. So you need to very carefully read the organization structures also. And in this phase, you are going to communicate with your employees. You are going to show some of the evidence to your employees that why such kind of the changes are important. When you are showing some kind of the evidence to your employees, then it becomes easy for them to understand and it becomes very easy for them to accept that change. So when you are showing something, I mean, in the solid form and in evidence form, and that why it is important for us for the company's performance to gain the competitive advantage, then it becomes very easy for them to accept. Communication plays a very important role whenever you want to bring the change in any sector, in any settings. Communication is very important because it's build the trust between two parties. I mean, continuous communication is very important there. So then the trust built from the both side, and then it has to gain the loyalty and then cooperation from your opponent, from your employees, and from your stakeholder, and then they become the part of the team and has to implement the change in the better way. Informing all the reason behind change to bring the change in the organization. So we can take an example. A company realizes that its current manual inventory system is outdated and causing delays. So management hold meeting to show employees the inefficiencies when they are showing the inefficiency in the existing system and the need for the digital solution, preparing them mentally and emotionally for the change. So when you are doing such kind of the thing, you are showing the evidence and making them aware, then they will be involved and convinced to bring the change. Okay. Then second phase is the changing. This is the actual the changing phase, or we call it transitioning or moving phase. Okay. So actual change happens over there in this phase. So in this phase, so mostly people struggle with the new reality. It is not easy for them to all of a sudden make the changes in their working style, behavior of the organization. So it becomes very difficult. So sometimes you have uncertainty and fears in your mind, what going to happen, whether it is working well or not. So it is a bit difficult phase, okay? But you need to remain resilient in this phase. So in this phase, what you start doing, you start making train people, you are going to give them training, the people start learning the new behavior, learning the new processes, maybe new softwares, new systems, and they learn the new way of thinking. So in this way, you are just transforming, as we call about transitioning and moving, you are moving from the one state to another state. So you are working on that thing. You are organizing some kind of a training session, you are providing them education, continuously you are going to communicate with them. Okay. So these things are happening in this stage. So you need to be focused on that thing. So if we talk about the key action, what kind of the key action happens in a few bullet points, I would say you need to provide training and support to your employees because they don't know how to do the new things. Then you are going to communicate clearly and consistently. So you are not creating any kind of confusion, okay, during the change process. Encourage involvement of the employees. When involvement is there, they feel they are heard, they are part of the team, they are motivated, then they will be very helpful in the in the phase of change. Continuously providing them the feedback wherever they need a constructive action, provide them constructive action and training, and deal with uncertainty or resistance. Any kind of the problems are happening, they are just identify those problems, and then you are dealing with those uncertainty and resistance. So main goal of this phase is transition individual or the organization into the new state which you have planned or desired to go to that point. So the freezing stage, okay, stage after in the changing phase, you have done everything, you tested everything, you planned, you mean trained your employees, you have done everything, you have tested that everything is going well. Now it is a phase you are going to embed that thing or locking that thing into your new system. So in this final stage, the main thing is the new change are solidified into the organization culture to ensure they are sustained over the time. Okay, so the main things in this phase is you need to behavior and practices. Okay, you need to focus that people are strict to the new behaviors and new practices. So in this phase, you are based on the new changes. Now you are going to update your policies, your procedure, and in some cases, you need to change the structure of the organization. And you need to keep celebrating your successes to keep motivated people. And in this phase, it's not everything is done now. Now your continuous monitoring and adjustments are required there. Anything is happening wrong and it is not in line with your change, then you need to make changes and adjustment there. So there is a summary table which we have covered so far, and there is an example. You are going to study this one yourself, and there is a quotas eight-step model of change. If we talk about this one, So they have done the research in 100 organization, and after that they have developed this model. So there are the 8 steps. One by one, we are going to explore what these steps are. The first step is talking about you are going to create an urgency. Again, you are going to create an awareness, which is a part of the Kurtz or Lowen's model also. As I told you earlier, Lowen's model is serving the base or foundation for rest of the models. So in this, what kind of the in the organization, which can create the problem, and then this in this phase you are also working on exploring some kind of the opportunity. Okay, and then you are going to make some kind of the effective intervention and strategies through which you are going to avail those opportunities, or you are going to deal with those threats. So in this case, you are going to make open communication discussion with your employees, okay? And you are telling them convincing them the reason to bring the change in the company or in the organization. And in this case, you are trying to request the involvement and support from the other people, because from inside of the organization and from your stakeholder. Whenever you are bringing the change, you can't bring the change without a team or people of the team. So in this case, you are making or forming powerful guiding collision. So when we are talking about the powerful guiding collision means you are bringing those people who are very influential. So in this case, maybe the leaders in your organization, people at higher management, or key stakeholders who are very influential, who are investor, who has a decision power, who has a power to influence the decision. So you are going to involve those people and you are asking for their commitment. But it is going to happen when you are making the open discussion with them and convincing them for the change. Okay. So sometimes you can include these influential people from the cross-functional department, maybe marketing department, maybe production department, because maybe you need all of these people to implement the change. Okay. Then the second thing is you are going to developing a vision and a strategy. Until unless you don't have a vision for the change, then you can't bring the change. So it's very important you have a clear vision what kind of the change you want to bring, and then based on the change you are going to have a clear plan how you are going to execute that plan. Then the next phase is you are describing and communicating that change to the relevant stakeholder in your organization, so you can convince them also, so and they can become the of your change. That again, communication plays very important role. If you are not communicating them, you are not convincing them, then definitely they're going to resist your change, and then your your process gonna be very difficult. I have already explained this part, communicating the vision, okay. And then the next part is removing the obstacles. You need to figure out what kind of the things can create hindrance, impede the process of the change. Then you need, it could be anything. It could be your organization processes, it could be organization structures, it could be employees' behavior, it could be your organization culture. Whatever is there, you need to figure out what is restricting the change process. Continuously, you need to keep checking the barrier elements. So, barriers of people, I already told, it could be the people who are resisting the change. Then you need very proactive, you need to come up with the strategies, with the solution to remove those obstacles. And there is another very important strategy or good strategy. You need to introduce the reward system. When you are rewarding the people for their good behavior and complying with the new behavior, then and they are helping to endorse the change, you are rewarding those people, then you are starting motivating other people also. Okay. It is also very important creating a short-term wins. So short-term targets. Okay, when short-term targets are there, short-term goals are there, you are achieving that thing. So sense of the achievement also create some kind of the motivation among the team. The people are more resilient, more enthusiast toward the change, more ambitious. So then when people are working and meeting the targets, again, introduce the reward. reward system is one of the biggest motivation tactics. Okay, then you are going to consolidating gains. Okay, so yeah, so reaffirming. So you are keep discussing in this phase you are talking about the continuous gain. Okay, you are focusing on, or you're just focusing on the thing. You are working on the continuous improvement. You are pushing the continuous improvement, and at the same time you are focusing on the people are not regressing. They are not going to the previous behavior. They are not going to previous norm of the working. So you need to ensure that they are keep working, keep improving, and they are stick to the new way of the working. Anchoring change in the corporate culture. Now you are making and embedding this thing in your corporate culture so it can last for longer. So in this case you can discuss successful stories related to so you are embedding in your day-to-day activities, and so it become more visible in your culture. Okay, and again, as we discussed in uh, refreezing part of Lowen's model. So maybe you are making or designing the new processes, new policies, so through which you can ensure that people are stick to the new policies, and maybe then it is becoming the part of your culture also. This is how you are going to locking the change. Okay, so there are some kind of the advantages and disadvantages of using this model. I'm not going to explore this one. It's so quite self-explanatory. Okay, so you can read it yourself. So McKinsey 7S model is also a very important model whenever you want to bring any kind of the change in your organization. It helps you to give you the better insight, and it helps you to make the better understanding and make a better decision for your organization. And okay, what this McKinsey's model says, let's figure out. This is also strategic management tool. Basically, normally organization uses this tool to analyze and improve organizational effectiveness. Okay, so if you want to bring the changes from the effectiveness purposes, this tool is very helpful. Even for the business analyst, it is very helpful tool they use in their in business analyst setting also. So it was developed by consultants at McKinsey and Company. So there are two, three people, Julian Phillip, Robert Wetterman, and Peters. So this model was developed in 1980s. So basic purpose of this model is there are 7 elements. Okay, we are going to explore those elements. So the basic purpose of this model is to ensure that all part of organization are aligned and working together. Because normally in other models, people focus just one element or two element, maybe vision, and then strategy alone. That's it. They are not focusing at the part of the organization element. But in this way, they have put together 7 elements, and they ensure that they all the elements are working together to ensure the effectively. So they just try to ensure that all the elements are working together effectively, so they can bring the change successfully. They can develop the strategy in an efficient way, and to improve the performance of the organization for different reasons. It can be used for the change purposes, for strategy development, and for performance improvement. Okay, so this element basically is having 7 elements. Okay, so these 7 elements are divided into soft elements and hard elements. Soft elements, so strategy, structure, and system. We can see these are the hard element. Okay, and shared values, skills, style, and staff. These are soft elements. So let's explore these elements one by one. So the first one is your strategy. You design the strategy based on your vision and mission. Okay. So in you use these strategy to, it consists of a set of decisions and action. So why we are making the decision and action or plan, make design the strategies, because you want to remain competitive in the organization. You read internal and external environment, and you are responding to those changes in the company's even internal environment and to external environment also. So through the strategy, you try to just capitalize on the external opportunities while utilizing your internal capabilities and resources, and you want to gain some competitive advantage. But when you are making the strategic change, you need to ensure that other parts are also supporting these elements. I will come back to this point. First, let me explain these elements one by one. Okay, structure, then it is organization structure. As I told you, I'll give you. So this is the kind of the organization structure. There are many structure: hierarchical structure, flat organization, matrix organization. So the structure is also very important. It represents how different units and division of the companies are working together, or how the work is divided among the different departments. It is a department based, or it is a task based, or it is a team based. So there are the different kind of the structure names given there. So sometime you need to consider whatever you are change bringing, if it is aligned with the existing structure or not, or if your existing structure is supporting that change or not. Maybe you need to bring the change in your structure to bring that or implement that change. Okay, then system, these are primary and secondary activities. Maybe your core activities, your product development, the support human resources who are going to perform those tasks. You have a right people to do that job, and then of course you have enough financial resources to implement that change. So you also need to check if your right systems are in place or not to implement that change or implement that strategy or plan. Again, you need to, skills are the sets and capabilities any organization have in form of the human resources. It could be the core competencies and skills of the employees. Okay, obviously these are intangible things. So when you are having the outstanding skill, sometimes your competent workforce can help you to attain competitive advantage in the organization. So skill part is also very important and integral for your organization. So can you see this model is focusing on everything? Okay. When staffing purposes, you are focusing on right number of the employees, that you have enough workforce, your recruitment procedure, training and development at place, payment methods, and what kind of the other motivational plans you have for your staff to make them motivated and to mean effective to perform beyond the or meet the standard or exceed the standard. So you need to focus on these elements also when you are bringing the change. Then management style is also very important, and sometimes management is structure also implement critically on your management style. Okay? So you need to consider what kind of the organization structure you are having. Okay, what kind of the shared values you have, I mean, and what kind of employees behavior you are having, and what is the nature of your business. So these things are integrally and very critical impact on your management style. When you are adopting any management style, you need to consider all these elements. So you need to check what kind of the structure, what kind of the culture, what kind of the organization behavior, employees behavior are there. According to that, you need to apply your management style. If you are implementing a change where your existing management style is not compatible, then maybe you need to change that management style. Shared value is integral and an internal part of this one, and it is impacting or forcing and driving other parts or other element. Okay. So when we talk about the shared values, it's integral part and it is a core of the model, okay? And it is the most fundamental building block. Your shared values, where it comes from. You take your shared values from your vision and mission. You deduct these values or deduce these values from what is your mission is saying, what your vision is saying. If your vision is based on innovation, then in your culture your innovation is embedded there. You are empowering your people, you are building the trust environment in your company, so people are empowered and they are taking the decision and you are trusting your employees. So that is a shared value. So I was telling you, when you are making a change in one element before you, then you need to make the change in other element. For example, you are bringing the change in your system, you are changing your organization working process, product development processes, you are bringing the new machineries or new production method. Then what going to happen? Then you need to make the changes in your skills. Maybe it is impacting your recruitment people. Okay, now you are making, or maybe you are in your strategy, you are saying every person is working, or structure you are changing. At department level, everybody is making the decision, not top level management. Then you need to change your change management style. Instead of autocrative, maybe your management style will be democratic or participative. So, is this part clear? Any question?
No, all is good. It's clear.
Okay, now they are giving me some kind of the example. How are you going to apply McKenzie's 7 model? There are some kind of the scenarios, and then they are going to make a decision. I mean, they are giving you a snapshot of the of uh, of the scenario that it is feasible to bring that change. In this one, all the element tick yes, yes, yes. It means you can bring the change over there. In the second case, some are yes, some are no. So you can't implement that change. And third example, and then again, some elements are aligned, some elements are not aligned. You can't bring the change. You can bring the change only when all the elements are aligned with each other. But sometimes when you are using this system and you are keeping the system in front of you, you find gaps. Maybe in generally you are not paying the attention, you are overlooking. But when you are using this model, then you can see, oh my God, we are missing on the system side. System is not aligned. Oh my God, we are just overlooking the staff element. So this model sometimes also helps you to identify the gaps and to make the good strategic decisions. Okay. Okay, so the last PowerPoint of today's lecture is identifying relevant leadership and change agents, skills to implement a strategic change in an organization. Just give me a sec. I need water. I'm having a very dry throat. Sorry. So whenever you are making any change, the strong leadership is an integral part or ingredient of that whole change management process. So the strong leadership, right leadership, and change agent skills are very important to bring very important in the organization. Until unless there is a not change initiatives are taking place from the top management and they are not leading from the front, it can't happen. The lower level people can't bring the change. So their involvement, so that's why we call them, you need to include the influential people when you are making the, I think so, McKenzie's model, or I can't remember the model. They are saying that you need to make a strong people team or influential people team. So they are basically talking about the top management people. They should lead from the front. So there are some kind of, they have taken the example of Tesco. And in that room, their case study, they figure out some kind of skill you should have when you are implementing the change. Attitude toward the change mean you should know. Yes, I think so. I put the note somewhere. No, it's not there. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah. So attitude toward the change, you need to continuously adapt to the environment. You need to bear in mind, the business environment is not stagnant. So since 21st century, this is very dynamic working environment. So it is very important for the company. They need to continuously adapting the environment and accordingly see they need to see the growth opportunity. Means they need to figure out the gaps and they need to fill out that gaps by grabbing those opportunities. So you should have an attitude toward the change. So you should have a attitude in organization that we need to keep changing. We need to keep responding to the external environment or external changes. Okay. Okay, so this one is business knowledge. You should know you should have you are very well aware of your current business environment, okay, where your industry is working, in which industry your company is working, what is the position of your organization in that whole engineering industry and in that manufacturing industry. You need to see where your company is standing. You need to be very vigilant all the time what your competitors are doing. So what action they are taking, you need to keep an eye on those things also. Then you need to figure out what is the vision of your company. Is your company is going or proceeding or progressing toward the vision set by the your top management or not? Then same time you are focusing on your growth opportunities, okay? And when you are making these things, current business situation, then you are comparing your vision, where you want to go in the future and where your business is right now. It will help you to find the gap. How we are going to fill that gap. It compels you to make some actions. Okay. So slowly, you are bringing improvement in your organization, changing your process so you can reach from your current business situation or state towards your vision or your future business state toward, so you can move from 0 point to the last point in one day. If you want to reach to your vision, maybe it will take you 10 years, 20 years. So it's a slow and gradual process, but during this process loads of changes you need to bring in your organization. So you should have a business knowledge and you need to keep an eye on your vision of the organization where you want to go, and you need to keep struggling making a plan, making or reviewing your strategic plan, reviewing your strategies to achieve your end objective of the goal. And all the time you need to be focused on your vision or end objective of the of your organization. Leadership skill, as I told you, it is a very competitive, it is a very integral part of organization, and it is a very competitive, it provides competitive environment also for your organization. Some people are very good leaders, successful leader. If your leadership style or leaders are not effective, they can impact on your whole organization's performance. So there are leadership skill which you need to focus on. You need to keep motivating people through different strategies, through your inspiration, through your own set example, through your own behavior, how leaders behave themselves. They can set example for them, and apart from them, they can utilize some kind of motivational strategies, some kind of the reward system, acknowledgement system. Then they should have analytical skills. They are analyzing the skills all the time, behavior, situations, reading the situations, then sensing the threats, identifying the opportunities. Then they should have a clear strategic vision. If they don't have a clear strategic vision, then they are drowning the whole organization. When your strategic decisions are clear, your vision is clear, it means your strategies are clear, then your whole plans are aligned toward that. Then according to that, you can organize your people, your resources toward them. So these are these things, etc. These things are very critical. when you want to embed or emerge the change and you want to involving the people. Okay. So when we are talking about the change agent things or skills, there are the three change agent skills. This is also very important. Whoever is leading the change, that person should be having these three skills: consulting, training, and research skills. So there are these three skills. Okay. When we talk about consulting roles, so it means change agent acts as an advisor or facilitator, as because the name explained consultation. So they use their knowledge, their experience, and outside perspective to help an organization understand the current problem. They can explore potential solution according to that, and they can help or implement some kind of improvement. The consulting role often includes diagnosing issues and let's take an example of a manufacturing company where they are facing a high employee turnover. So as the change agent, he brought if as I mean if he's taking the role of the consultancy, after a series of interviews and assessment, they discover that employee feel undervalued and disconnected from all management. So it means this they are diagnosing the issue. Then consultant recommends specific strategies like employee recognition programs. So this is a solution, regular feedback system, and more transparent communication practices. So they are giving these solution, and then you can figure out and you can resolve that problem. Training role is, as name is suggesting, you need to provide training. So as a trainer, the change agent focus on building the skills, knowledge, and capabilities of individual or team so they can adapt to and sustain the desired change. Whenever you are bringing the change, it is a new for the employees. Then it is very important you are going to hold training. It is a key and integral part of any change management process. Whenever the change is happening, you need to provide the training to the employee. But as a change agent, you should take that role, training role also. You are providing the training to the people. So it might include like you can give the training through workshop, hands-on coaching, seminars. You can creating learning resources. So the basic goal is to reduce resistance to change by increasing competence and confidence. Normally, employees resist to the change because they don't have a certain level of skill or competence, or they are not confident enough to perform that thing. For example, there is let's say like an example of organization where they are implementing the new software system. So maybe your employees are unfamiliar and hesitant. So as a change agent, you need to organize training session, which is tailoring to the different departments, helping them learn how to use software efficiently. They also create, I mean, in this case, you can create some user guides and offer one-on-one supporting during the training phases. So you can adopt different kind of the strategies to train your people. Research role, again, name explain itself. So, as a change agent, you need to gather, analyze, and interpret data to understand issues. You are gathering the information. So, based on the fact, you are trying to understand the issue. You are not making the guess. Okay? You are trying to effectiveness of change. If you want to bring the change, you need to evaluate how useful or effective that change will be. If it is bringing the enough benefit to the organization, then go for that thing. If it is bringing the minor change in the organization, I think that then it is a futile effort. So you need to make the evaluation for that change initiative, that how beneficial that would be. So this is very important role, and it can bring some kind of benefit because when you are gathering the information, you are actually creating the evidence, and then you make the decision based on those evidence, and those decisions are quite informed decision, and you are they are confirmed that those decision will be quite successful, and they will be helpful for the continuous improvement and performance of the organization. So when you are doing the researches, you can use different kind of the method, like you can hold surveys, you can conduct interviews, you can hold focus groups, you can conduct some kind of the observation, previous performance data, or any data. You can do the analysis on that data, and you can do that thing. So this is how you can so these are the three skills which the change agent who is implementing the change, he should be having these skills. Okay. So any question, dears?
It's clear.
It's clear. Okay, so as I told you, you can find the resources from your on Moodle. But today I'm going to send you all the PowerPoint slides which we have covered until today. So if we go back, we have done carrying out field analysis. Okay. So this is a tool. It also helps you to make the analysis of the force change or driving forces or resistant forces, and based on that one you can make the changes. Then there are different change method. We have covered the Lewin's change management model, three-step, like three-step model, and Cortez eight-step change model. But in all these three models, Lewis change models, the whatever the three stuff we covered there, they are laying the foundation for the rest of the model. Some way you can find the Lewin's three element in other models also. Okay.
Yeah.
7S model is also very helpful in strategic management, and it also has to understand and consider the various elements to make sometime design the well-rounded strategy. Okay, quarter step model focus on the change. Then again, we talked about the leadership skills, and then change agent skill, which is very important for any person who is leading or implementing the change in the organization. So this is all we have done today. So now I'm going to share the organization structure document with you. I will be giving you that document. Okay, organization structure. Because you guys didn't cover it, wasn't the part of any PowerPoint slide, but I'm just noticed that it is very important. You guys are going to read this document yourself, very self-explain it, very simple examples aren't there. But if there will be any question, you guys can ask me question there. There are functional structure, divisional structure, matrix structure, team-based structures, project-based structures, flat structures, okay, hierarchical structures. So, and then there is a crux of everything, or this is a brief summary. Okay, this is the summary table for you guys. So I'll share the document also with you guys. So you can read it. If you have any question, just you can bring the question tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, thank you so much, dear. So I'll see you
Thank you.
guys
Yeah,
Thanks,
have a
tomorrow.
nice
Naila.
day.
Thank you.
Tomorrow is our last learning outcome, and the next week we will discuss assignment brief.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thanks.
Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
You
Bye.
too.
Thanks.